This is a little bit different video. This is kind of a hard video, I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking around me now. I'm in a 60,000 square foot building. 60,000 square feet. For those of you that are new to the channel, I want to go back. Let me share with you how this started. 2003 or 4, we had a young family, and I was like, well, no more going to the bar, no more any of that stuff. You see, I never really had a dad when I was younger. My dad didn't show up late until I was older, probably 12 or 13. And I thought, what do dads do? Well, I guess dads barbecue and drink beer and mow the yard. So I went out and bought a $50 smoker from Walmart. That Saturday, I fired up that smoker, put that meat on there, and it was on there all day long. Chicken, chuck roast. I knew what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. So I set that meat on that smoker and mowed the yard and drank some beer and did that. Well, that evening, we sat down to eat. And man, when I tell you, that was the nastiest food I've ever tasted. I cannot put any more emphasis on that. It was absolutely atrocious. Mind you, I had no idea what I was doing. So I ended up getting a smoker from my father-in-law. He gave me one. They pulled it out of a field in Hennessy, Oklahoma. I wish I still had that smoker. I'll put a picture right here of it. If you ever see it, send me a message. I'll buy it back. And I learned to cook on that thing. I learned fire management. I just learned if it gets too hot, it burns. If it gets too low, you know, it's so smoky you can't eat it. Then I got pretty good, and I was tasked with cooking turkeys for Thanksgiving, and these were the first turkeys I ever cooked. But they were good. You just couldn't eat the skin. But I got the bug, and I went to my first competition and ended up getting first place ribs at my very first competition ever. I still have the original banner. We called it Q, you know, Kosmos barbecue. So I went with Kosmos Q. The first products I ever come up with was our beef injection and our pork injection. And then we come up with Dirty Bird and Cow Cover. Those are rubs that we made at the house, but then we turned them over to the co-packer. So those were the 4 products, and those were in my shelf, and they were in little half-pound bags. I had this little restaurant tote, those gray ones. I'm sure everybody knows what they are. That's what I would put the orders in. I'd put them in my car. I would go to work, and on my way back home from work, I would drop them off at the post office. Fast forward to today, we actually have a semi from the post office show up daily. So we're very blessed. We moved from the closet to a shed I had in my backyard. And then we ended up selling that house and built a house. And I was saving my money the whole time, and I was gonna buy a shop. At the time they were like 20 grand. So I saved up 20 grand, built a shop, we moved into the shop. And then, you know, this is still early on. Had to move to our storefront now. And then it quickly grew from that to we had to get a storage facility behind it. It was a 30 by 60 storage into now 12,000 square feet that we are in. I never thought in a million years we would fill that 12,000 square feet up. Not once. If you go over there today, it's full, and there's pallets all up and down the aisles, and it's because of you. It's because of you. And I've never really been one of those guys that I need all the followers. I don't. To me, it's quality over quantity. I really never tried to get wrapped up into the fame, I guess you would call it, the fame, the notoriety. I consider myself one of you, buddies, somebody you would come have a beer with. But I'm not gonna lie, I think at some point you start getting used to that, and I had to have a reality check with myself that that's not who I am. That's not who I was. That's not who I am. And that's damn sure not who I want to be. For me, I know my calling. And I know that I'm not put on this earth to be served, but to serve. I'm here to serve you. There is nothing that brings me joy in my job more than hearing somebody say, I cooked that recipe and it turned out amazing. My family loved it. I couldn't ever cook brisket, now I can. So I like to empower you to serve the people you serve. That's what brings me joy. And honestly, I love it to death. And that's why I'm shooting this video, because I want you to know that I'm here. In 6 square feet or 60,000 square feet, I serve you. I serve your family, your friends, your churches, your jobs. Wherever you serve your barbecue, that's where I want to be. And you know me. Listen, if you got something you like to use that's not our product, use that. Do what makes you happy. You don't have to use our stuff. I would rather if you need a brisket video and you just want to learn the method, that's why they're there. That's why we do this, for free. We give them away. And I want to figure out ways I can give more. So from 6 to 60, I'm still the same motherfucker, and I ain't going nowhere.